What I'm here to talk to you about is pain um, and pain management. Ever since the beginning of time, people have developed uh, other sources besides food and water to manage pain, and this is outside of eating disorders and sugars and things like that. But we're now living at a time to where you're not using too many of your senses when using narcotics, which goes to show how bad the pain is that these kids have. And I'll try to break it down a little bit more. What I'm trying to say is before, back in the day, quote unquote, you were able to look at, which is your eyes. You're able to smell, which is your nose. You were able to taste, um, and you can even get into hearing if you really want to go there. You can get into when smoking marijuana, you can hear the seeds pop. Bottom line is, what I'm trying to convey to you is how in tune with the things that you were using in order to cope were. Now things are coming across from a pharmaceutical grade to where you don't know what it is that you're taking. You don't know who's manufacturing this. You don't know whose product this is. Is this a pharmaceutical from China? Is this something from that's manufactured in Mexico and brought through the border? What is it that you're using? What is it that you're taking? And I want to point out how today times are so hard, times are so bad that people aren't even in touch with what it is that they're taking anymore. It's to the point now to where there's no anxiety and no inspection around what we're ingesting into our bodies. You understand? You just hope that the pill has a smiley face on it, or X on it, or whatever it is, and then you're just taking it. I've lost several friends that were laced with fentanyl. They thought they were just smoking weed, and the weed had fentanyl in it, and it caused them to overdose and lose their lives. So I just wanted to bring up that point. I think that opens room for a discussion to be had that amongst today's youth, drug use is going to get more and more serious, and it's going to get more and more. They're going to try more and more things that they won't be able to inspect. They're going to assume that since this pill has this brand on it, that it has what it has in it. They're going to assume that this pill has what it has. In a way, the pill is going to be more trustworthy than marijuana and traditional drug uses that we've been using, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, etc. Um, Now it's getting to the point to where this new pharmaceutical drug use is going to take. It's going to take a lot of people, man. No disrespect, but there are tons of rich homie Quans across the globe. In every little ghetto in the world, there's about, 10 big cities, is about 10, 20 rich homie Quans every 2 or 3 years. That's not the only one in Atlanta. If you were to look at the medical records and see how many kids have overdosed of pharmaceutical use, it will shock you. It'll probably surprise you. Um, but the fact that he is a celebrity, it brings more attention to it. But instead of hopping on the bandwagon with the conspiracy theories and things like that, what I want to get people to look at is how the new drug use is going to take a lot of people out. Not only is the new drug use, the new pharmaceuticals and things like that that the human body isn't necessarily built for, not only is it going to take more people out, people are going to consume more than they've ever consumed before, and they're going to consume more dangerous drugs than what they've consumed before. Back in the day, it was a bad thing to smoke weed. People that smoke weed, it was like the hardcore thing to do. And then outside of that, it was after that it was cocaine. Then after cocaine, it was heroin. Those were all shocking things to do, but today that's kind of normal. Um, and then you have the watered down versions of the drugs, such as heroin, which is lean, which is codeine. So we have all these things that our youth are addicted to, and I just want to bring awareness to how much pain is going on in order for someone to do something. Um, Traditional child abuse, abandonment, neglect, all those types of things were the underlying reasons and causes that cause someone to, drink and become an alcoholic, and cause someone to, you know, smoke, marijuana, and then eventually to cocaine use and heroin use. And this is outside of crack cocaine, of course. Um, but this new pharmaceutical drugs, it's uh, it's designed to do what it's doing. And any youth counselors or anybody that want to get together and have a conversation, man, I'm willing to have a conversation with you, to see what we're going to do about this new thing here. Um, just say no isn't necessarily going to work. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get together and get to the underlying root cause of why someone would choose it anyway. And the reason people are choosing it is because of pain. I would rather shoot heroin in my arm instead of feeling the abandonment and neglect from my mother, for example. I'd rather pop this pill and feel numb than to feel the pain of the child abuse or whatever it was that I went through. And so, if that underlying reason isn't addressed, there's going to be more and more drug use. And not only is it going to be more and more drug use, there's going to be more and more strong drug use, such as, the codeine, opioids, and things like that. So, kids are going to go straight from pain to hardcore drugs. The gateway used to be marijuana. They used to label marijuana as the gateway drug. I don't believe it's the gateway. I think that it's the safest thing to do to where it isn't considered taboo. But today, perks, what used to be Molly, um, heroin, what's now, really codeine, lean, that is the norm. It's so normal now that marijuana use is free. Weed is like a cup of coffee. you know, yeah. And so, you would get happy. And I believe that it can be used for medicinal purposes. I understand that. But that also can be used far as the spray, which doesn't have the THC. You can use the cannabinoid spray, which reduces the cancer cell, blah, blah, blah. I do know someone who survived cancer and says that it's because of his weed use. He said, I met someone like that. Uh, but I will say, being that the gateway drugs or the lesser drugs being allowed to be free, they're going to be considered nothing. And by default, the new gateway drugs and the new children now are going to be turned out to these pills and to these synthetic pharmaceutical grade drugs right off the bat. And it's about to be over for them. The other thing is I believe that America, the way it's going, not to get into politics, I hope that this country turns around and becomes better. But assuming that it doesn't, which is on its way to, with all these, with inflation, with the amount of immigrants taking the resources from the bottom, with the erasing of the middle class, it's going to be more and more hard times to where this is pretty much going to where it's been for years in third world countries. And so, just to cope, coffee, marijuana will be at your beck and call. But then, what was marijuana usage is now going to be opioids, codeine, heroin, fentanyl, and lastly, drink. And that's what's going to be used to medicate us in order to keep functioning and ultimately remain slaves. I know that's heavy. I know that that's not where you thought I was going to go with it. But with the death of the brother, the rapper Rich Homie Quan, I wish I knew his real name. I'd have Googled it real quick. If y'all done looked it up and saying I'm slow, that's cool. Okay, Rich Homie Quan, American rapper. What is his name? Okay, DeQuantes Devontae Lamar. Born October 4th, 1990. Died September 5th, 2024. So that gives him 34 years on the planet. Okay. I don't want to get into too much. I'll keep it there. But either way, rest in peace to the brother. And I'll go on to the next topic.